A couple of months before her birthday, I found myself thinking of how she'd always spent her special day. Each year she'd fly out to see her family, her parents in a different city or one of her three sisters, all now married and living abroad. It was tradition, this day filled with love, warmth and family. But this year, her first birthday since we got married, she told me she wanted to spend it with me. Just hearing that, feeling the importance I held in her life, made me happier than she could ever know. Still, I couldn't shake the thought of how much her family meant to her. I wanted her to have everything she treasured. So I began planning something that could bring us both worlds. A surprise that would make her feel surrounded by all the people she loved. I reached out to each of her sisters, along with her parents, asking if they'd be willing to fly in for her birthday. I assured them I'd handle everything, from tickets to accommodations and all the arrangements in between. My only request was that they keep it a secret, and they all agreed, thrilled to imagine her reaction. The night before her birthday, she and I went out for dinner. She thought we'd just celebrate later, in a quiet midnight moment at home, just the two of us. We went out, and over dinner, I could see how at ease she was, how genuinely happy. As we made our way back to our apartment, I casually told her to wait outside, mentioning that I wanted to set the mood with a few candles before she came in. She laughed, rolling her eyes a little, but stayed behind. Inside, her entire family was gathered, eagerly waiting to surprise her. I positioned everyone, making sure the room was just right, and then gave her a call, telling her everything was ready. I heard her footsteps outside the door, a short pause, and then she walked in, switching on the lights. The room erupted in a chorus of happy birthday, and her expression was priceless. For a split second she stood still, her face frozen in shock, and then I saw it. A light in her eyes, a joy so pure and true it could have filled the entire room. There, in that moment, everything I'd hoped for came to life. Her eyes sparkled, her smile widening in pure disbelief, as she took in the sight of her parents, her sisters, nieces and nephews all around her. She hugged each of them, laughing through her happy tears, her joy filling every inch of the room. And for me, that was it. In that moment, nothing else existed. That moment, that look on her face, was my whole world right there. Everyone joined in for cake and laughter, each sister trying to talk over the other, all of them sharing stories and filling the room with memories. I watched quietly, filled with profound contentment as I saw her surrounded by everyone she loved, radiating happiness. It was more than I could have ever hoped for. I wanted her to have this time with her original squad, the people who'd been there from the beginning. So I slipped outside for a moment, lit a cigarette and let myself breathe it all in. A couple of drags later, I heard her footsteps behind me. She'd come out, looking concerned, asking what I was doing out here by myself. I told her that I wanted her to be with her family, her OG squad, as they'd always been the core of her life. But she shook her head. Without a word, she grabbed the cigarette from my hand, tossed it aside, and then took hold of my arm. Just before pulling me inside, she turned to wrap her arms around me tightly, holding on as if to say, "You belong with us, with me." In that quiet hug, she told me more than words ever could. I felt a sense of belonging like never before, that she wanted me there with them, that she wanted me as part of her. It was a feeling new to me, something I hadn't fully realized I needed. All I'd ever asked of Alaji was to be wanted by her, to find my place in her heart. Yet he had blessed me with so much more. That night, I felt not only her love, but also the warmth of her family's acceptance. In that quiet moment outside the door, wrapped in her arms, I understood that I wasn't just her husband. I was part of her life in the deepest way possible, woven into the fabric of those she holds dear. And as I walked back inside with her, surrounded by laughter, by her family, I felt it more than ever, a sense of belonging that went beyond words, beyond anything I had ever known. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was home, not just with her, but with all of them. And I knew then that this was the true gift Alaji had granted me, a love so complete, with a place to belong, and a heart that welcomed me in. Thank you for watching aikdastaan, where every tale is a testament to the human spirit and every voice resonates with the truth as they perceive it.